Oops. My bad, I got the wrong thing. Oof. As you can see, I'm trying to make a person. All right. Let me pop in check. I got 2 people watching. Neat. is a bit challenging to make this 3D sculptor. It is a challenge. Again, feel free to let me know how you guys feel about this. Okay. Save it as is for right now. Always gotta make folders, gotta make sure that it's neat and tidy. That's one thing you need to know. Making sure that if you're gonna be doing any sculpting, any type of 3D modeling or art, make sure you're organized. Also, make sure you don't put anything in the wrong layer. You're gonna regret that a lot. Okay, let's go into a place I'm more familiar with. Let's have some fun there. Actually, something is supposed to be off, but just whatever. I'll work with it. Let's see. Let's see if I can make a phone. Actually, no, better yet, let's make a gem. It'll be quick and easy, and a lot of fun. Looks like it must be a YouTube play button if I do this. That actually gives me an idea. Let's make a diamond play button. Ugh. Sometimes it doesn't want to work with me at times. Ugh. See if I can keep you guys on your toes. Alright. Again, since I only have one screen, I will be popping back and forth. I can only do so much with limited stuff I have. button. That's pretty close. I can probably shrink this down a tiny bit. There we go, that should be fine. Got the play button. Now let's have this be a little bit more fun and interesting. So that'd be a bit of a slight faster technique. There is one that I would prefer, which is a lot easier. There we go. And yes, it does do that at times. There we go, extrude it a bit more. And yes, it's not wanting to do that because of one little thing, and that's this part right here. Gotta get to the tools. Let's cut this thing. You want to cut as much as you can. Leave nothing that is gonna have it go nowhere, because if you ever 3D modeler, never have this. Never. This can doom everything. So, be very cautious. Now then, we still need one more. You don't want to forget at least one of those. Oop. There we go. Now it should all wrap around. Now look at that. Now it should go all the way around. That's how you make it so that you don't have any issues when you get later on into the project, which is unwrapping. And if anyone that knows about 3D modeling, not a pleasant thing to do, but is a thing you have to do. But get a little ahead of ourselves. We need to at least bevel to have the light have fun with this. Get this all smoothened out. But I don't want it too smooth. Would you look at that? It wraps all the way around beautifully. Now, just two will be fine. Now I need to do this. It's the same process. Make sure everything's all wrapped around. Making sure that nothing is wrong. This will be different since it's a different shape. Which, I'll be honest, these shapes are always what causes me a bit of a headache. And make sure everything's all good before I start to even extrude it. But let's do this. And then you don't need to do what I just did earlier, which can fuck up your results. Just click extrude, raise it up just a tiny bit, and then push it in tiny bit here. That should be fine. One thing though is that this is going to be a bit tricky right here of how close they are. It's going to cause it to stretch. But it shouldn't be that big of an issue. Look what we have here. However, what we did here was a bit easy. It was here to here. Not so much here. I gotta try and fix it. If not, I have to leave it. There are times that you have to leave it. And it's gonna look a bit ugly. But sometimes the beveling helps you. But you don't want this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Adds another that you don't need. So, let's see if I can be able to fix this. But this will be a bit of a challenge. Where do I begin? Oh. Let me see how everything's going on here. Okay. Sorry. I know there's some parts right here that won't do well. Because guess what? It's going to be the same thing over here. I think I found where I need to start. But if you go right here, that's not going to work. It should be able to work. But it's going to be a bit of a trick. Okay, that's actually a good way of doing it. Again, test, practice, test, practice. If it breaks, test some more. Test! You want to do that. Okay, let's go right here. Now I should be able to have it go wrapping around for both of these. And it should go all the way around. That's a good sign. And yes, it's going to be a bit tricky because if you look at how it is, it's not going to be 100%. See how it bevels? That's what I was afraid of. It helps fix one problem, but made a new one. This is needing to be at least spread out a bit from it. Because if you look at it, it's too close to the lines. It's a bit too close. Just spread it apart. Should look fine right now. Nope, still having the same issue. Curious, but then I realized right here. That's the issue right here. Let's see what happens when I took this out. Yeah, that's what I figured. It's because how close these are. Which, let's see if I can take at least some of them out. Because some don't have any purpose. Actually, let's see if I can get all of these right here out. still causing it, but that's because of these right here. So maybe I can be able to alter these two. Got a bit distracted there. Should be able to be fine now. Something is not supposed to be there. There's something else causing it to not want to be together. If I separate these two. There it is. Found the issue. Took a little bit of time. Oh, wait, there's one more. Oh, wait. Ooh. I didn't connect this correctly, did I? That I did not notice. It can happen at times. Now should be able to do without an issue. There we go. And would you look at that? Now, it's a little off, but let's see. Let's scale this down a bit. Ooh, it's a big diamond one then. That should work. Now then, let's do the unwrapping part, which ain't gonna look pretty. Maybe a bit slow. Oops. Pay no attention to that. That is suppose. Alright then. Now. This one gets a bit tricky. Because as much as I would love to have it be the way that would be real simple, we're just wrapping it around. That ain't gonna be the best. There we go. I got another one that does that. I missed a line. Now then, that's only one side. You do the other side. Takes a lot of time to just get the selection and then able to do the planer, which is essentially just projecting where you want to cut. Let's see, we got to there. Let me see if this one's better or that one's better. That side's better, so about right here. Do it this way. This is a lot faster and doesn't take as much time. Now then, should be fine. Oh, caught something. This would have been a big issue right here. Four. Make sure I get every bit. You don't want to miss anything or it's going to cause major issues. And then let's unwrap this puppy. See, it's a Z-axis. Protect. Unfold. Oop. Looks like I missed something. Right here. You don't want that. See? Simple mistake, and it can cause a bit of an issue. There, now it works perfectly. So we get these, but that's not it. You need everything. So just do this. We know it's at 4. Yeah, there we go. Nearly done. Now this one, different side. It's gonna definitely need the planer. But this time of the X value. Once you get done with 2 of the dimensions, it's super easy to do the final one. Usually I always do the last one is going to be the Y. Sometimes I start with the Y, sometimes I end with it. Really don't like doing it in the middle. Oh, I missed something. That is not good. That means I messed up yet again. This time in the same spot. Oh no. Now back to here. But now that's all done. Now to arrange them. Make sure that it stays within this box right here where it shows the green and red. It needs to only be in this box. It is really hard the more pieces and the more detail you put into your objects. It is why what I'm going to do next, once I'm done with this, is create a higher poly, meaning I can add a lot more detail, a lot more cool stuff to it, but as long as I'm not too different from, you know, the original, like it's not going to have like a crack in it, then it should be fine. Always have a low poly and a high poly. Always, always, always. Unless you want to add more of a headache to yourself. It is nice to start out with making as much detail as you can first off, just so you can get used to making stuff and using the tools. But once you get to the part of making like actual production, low poly, high poly. And there's also another which is called an ID, which you add colors to it so that you know where to put the textures. It used to be a little bit more complicated, but now it's super simple now. Just make sure you add the colors, and again, it has to be separate. So, make a part of it that has a low poly. Low poly as in this stuff's low poly. Then you got to duplicate it, add the details, and make a high poly. And you don't need to do this with the high poly model. You just get the low poly of it, duplicate that again, add the colors, you got yourself an ID. Again, it's really easy to trip up on that, but if you can get it, and you can be able to get down all that detail, you will be successful if you put in the work. Because again, even though if you know the pipeline, practice, practice, practice. Like right now, I gotta reduce these two things just so I can add more stuff. Because this is a bit big. But I want it to be a bit big because it's gonna be, you know, pretty visible. Let's have this bottom one be a bit smaller since, again, it's not going to be as visible. But this space is now going to be for this. Because you're going to, again, all together. Once you're exporting it, meaning taking it out of this software and putting it to a different one. So, hopefully you guys enjoy this. But, wait, I forgot one more thing. But we will get to that one thing later, due to the fact that unwrapping is a bit more important at the moment. And this is a bit trickier since it has more angles to this. And since they're really tiny stuff, it's going to be really easy to mess up. I might not be perfect on this, but right now all I care about is making sure I do it as close as I possibly can. And that is the x-axis. Uh-oh. I must have messed up. Because I wasn't supposed to do that. Since I can't see the bottom of this, there we go. Should be good. concentration mode. So sorry if I'm a bit quiet. I am concentrating on unwrapping. Hopefully that'll be good. And yes, this is the only time I will do the Y middle, mainly because of the fact that I'll make it getting the rest of everything a lot easier. And hopefully I grabbed it just right so that I can grab this. Let's see. Success! It worked. Okay, usually that glitches out a bit more than normal, so I was worried. Ooh, this one is a bit needing to be straightened out. Oh, a little bit of a glitch right here. There we go. Oh. Always gotta fix these little tiny defects. Don't fix them, well, your thing's gonna suffer. Because these unwraps and straightenings aren't gonna be always perfect. Not 100% all the time. And if you're like, oh, what happens when we need to see the unwrap of the other one? Oh. There we go. So the smaller be put right here. And this is extremely small, but not too small, so let's scale it up a bit. About right there. Can't really straighten this out because if you do that, it will glitch out completely. And voila! It is completely unwrapped. Now we're done with that, we can get to the part that I did forget earlier. I didn't label this, but let's group it together to make it a bit easier. but make sure you label everything. Again, organize. Organize, organize, organize. I will repeat that till I die. So, diamond, play button, low. And I could just label this base low and button low. Now it's unwrapped. One thing I would recommend if I'm having really good lighting, which I'm not going to get to it this time, maybe a different time, is I would have add a light UV, which is essentially the same unwrap as before, except it's all about the light and how it interacts with the edges. I'm not going to really add it in because, again, I'm not going to add any really good lighting. But let's go and make the high poly, shall we? High poly is in. Let's hide that so we can duplicate this one more time. And add an ID. This is where you'd add the colors. And since it's only two different colors. But if you want to, you can have it so that you can change it based off of the one object you have. Like this top part could be red, this bottom part can be white, or so on and so forth. I know that the diamond play button is more of a grayish silvery color, if I recall. Let's double check. Oh, also, don't be just doing what I'm doing, which is essentially not going based on references. Always have references. And I was correct, it was silver. However, not the way that I expected it to be. And this is a ruby play button, which if you guys can get to that, that'd be awesome. But only one person, Richie, 2 people have succeeded. 1 corporation and 1 PewDiePie. Hopefully I don't get flagged for that. But again, it's a simple one. I could make it a bit more jagged, but again, gotta go to the low. Hide this. And this is when I have to hide this. Usually there's a way to do it in the correct way, but I'm just doing random jagged. But one thing is consistent is the play button is at least somewhat centered and doesn't get touched by any of the bumps. Is that correct? Yep. And since I did change this, I unfortunately have to redo the UV for this. But since we already did it, it's a simple fix. Whichever is the top one, just unwrap it again. You already selected everything. There you go. That's a just in case. But since nothing really changed with anything moving it side to side, it's just moving it up and down, which is probably going to cause a bit of an issue. Only we shall see, because again, if we raise it, and if I don't select it showing that it's raised, well, then it's going to cause it to just be only a flat surface. It's not going to actually show it being raised. Because again, it's only showing it from one direction. So I'm fine with it the way it is. Now then, let's go back to here to unhide this. So you can hide this fully. And since we already did the beveling, which we don't really need to work on, we can if we want to. Like for instance, I can add bevels here to here. Oops, a little bit of a lag there. But yeah, you can add bevels as many as you want. Like, go bonkers with the detail with this. That is perfectly fine. It's just that it's not gonna matter if you don't add one more thing, which I will get to in a bit. Gonna add smoothing. This is what makes it really good. Looks like I added bevels where it shouldn't be beveled. Right here, right here. Again, be careful where you bevel. Because right here, as you can see, it is not looking good to bevel there. Now that let's smoothen this out. That looks a lot better. We can't be super smooth, but let's just do it like that. Look how smooth that looks. Mwah. Wait, we've got one problem though. This is my mistake. We forgot to add the bumps from earlier. So, scrap this and redo it. This happens more often than you think, and it's perfectly fine if you mess it up. That goes for the ID too. Need to redo that. Any changes to the low, you need to change with everything else. So let's do this one more time. But this time, we got a lot to deal with. Remember not touching these right here. If I can get to the other one. Because of the way how it's beveled right here. But we're going to see a bit trick with these things right here. There we go. Now then, now we got that out of the way. Now we can add the nice smoothing. Now it looks a little bit cooler, a little bit bumpy. Could add more divisions, could make it more smooth, but it's fine. You don't need to go crazy with it, especially since if you want to plug this into a game engine. Now then, the more easiest thing to do, just add a color. That's all it is. We have two different types of colors. Add this red. It doesn't need to have like the red textures or anything, it just needs the color. Do not have it set as the original, you always have to add. Let's make this color. There you go. Or if you want to make it black or white. Oh look, YouTube play button. Now then, the fun part, exporting it. We need to save this so in case any issues happen later. So let's call this play button. model. I'm organizing right now, so if you're wondering why I'm adding a lot of folders, this is stuff you would like to have. References. And textures, if you want to put them in other programs. There we go. Oh, I see you guys have been messaging. It's nice to know that you guys are enjoying this. Now then, this is to you, Nelly. Make sure that you export each one of these separately. Again, low poly, high poly, ID. Let's do the ID first since it's already visible. Export selection. Do not export all. That will export all of them at once and will cause a jumbled mess. So